Criminal profiling, or simply put, profiling. Merriam-Webster Dictionary describes profiling as the act or process of extrapolating, quite a big word, information about a person based on known traits or tendencies. According to the American Civil Liberties Union website, it describes criminal profiling as a reliance on a group of characteristics that the police believe to be associated with crime. Now, a third one. The FBI describes criminal profiling as a technique used to identify the perpetrators of a violent crime by identifying the personality and the behavioral characteristics of the offender based upon an analysis of the crime committed. Now, let's go to Wikipedia. It makes it very simple. Now, offender profiling, also known as criminal profiling, is an investigative strategy, emphasis on investigative strategy, used by the law enforcement agencies to identify likely suspects and has been used by investigators to link cases that may have been committed by the same perpetrators. Dear Nigerian youth, profiling as a technique of policing is not wrong. Profiling helps to solve security problems. The challenge, however, is not profiling, but the abuse of it. When a security agent stops you, shouting back, "Why did they stop me?" in our culture could be termed as an aggression. You have a responsibility to engage respectfully and peacefully. Security agents have a right to stop and question you. You never know why. There might have been a prior robbery incident of which you fit the profile of the person that was reported, the person that they saw in the camera, so they want to get close to you. Your face might not be a very familiar face in the community, so the policeman or the security agents in the area might just want to meet you and say, "Hi, how are you?" Talk to you. Many cases where a youth has approached the agent respectfully, there has been no abuse or less abuse. Yes, it's unfortunate we are speaking about less abuse instead of no abuse at all. But we are dealing with the reality today and not just what should be. So please do allow me. Now, dear Nigerian security agents, profiling has been used for ages, but it has certain restrictions, limits, or do nots. First of all, profiling does not take away due process. It is okay to see a young guy on the street and suspect them to be Yahoo boys. It's normal. If you see certain traits that you're, based on intel previously gathered and results from previous actions or cases. But it is not okay to demand to search the mobile phone of someone as a result of profiling. That is an infringement on the rights of the citizen. It is okay to profile a person and work towards gathering more intel on the person due to a particular lifestyle. There are cars that are attributed to Yahoo boys, and there's a way, a manner, certain crime or people who peddle certain crimes behave. That's okay to look at them and just profile. But it is not okay to bust open the door of a hotel at a room at 3 a.m. in the morning while the individuals are sleeping simply because the person has been profiled as a Yahoo boy. That is not okay. You can bust open the door of a confirmed criminal as long as you have the warrant of arrest and you can prove that he or she is elusive. So the best time to catch is, at that time so that they wouldn't fight back and kill your men. That is all right. The fact that you are addressing a citizen that has been profiled does not mean he or she does not have a voice. Profiling is good, but an abuse of this technique is rampant and unacceptable. Many fine officers like DCP Tunji Disu, who is the current head of the intelligence response team of the IGP, and CSP Oluwakayode Iposu, yes, former PRO of police PRO in Ogun State and former police PRO in Lagos State, and currently the police PRO of the Federal Police. that I've seen in Nigeria, I mean, I'm talking about this PRO, the current police PRO. You could like to check him out. Very active on Twitter, responds to crime alerts and everything. Just look for him on Twitter at Prince Moye1. Prince Moye1. Yes, when they do bad, call them out. And when they do good, give them the kudos as well. Well, some of these policemen have committed their lives to service of Nigeria, and they have their names, they've made their names, but their image are tainted due to the unruly activities of some unknown gunmen, I dare say unknown officers. It is important to speak against abuse, but not profiling.
You know, I'll share a story. You know, just on Tuesday I was heading to church, and I was driving through Jibo, you know, and so the first office checkpoint had stopped me. So I just greeted, waved at them, and then I moved on. So he signaled the second guy to stop me. I'm like, so I stopped. And again, I'm going to come from the angle of I agree totally with our mannerism when you're stopped, you know, whether, I mean, of course, it's easier for them to think I have my beard tainted.
And you're looking young.
And you're touching it. And I'm young. And I
with your earpiece in the ear.
These are the signs, you know. So when he stopped, say, good evening, sir. I said, oh, so how are you? So yeah, so can I see your boot? Okay. I mean, I came down, opened my boot. What do you have here? This. So he saw I have like a fire extinguisher bag. And he says, what's this? Is a fire extinguisher bag. And I opened it. Unfortunately,
before even asking.
Yeah,
without even asking, before he asked you.
Yes, actually. So I opened it, and he was just looking at me, and then I showed him, and he said, okay. I said, my fire extinguisher expired. I've ordered for a new one. He said, okay, when is it? Because it's coming soon. So he said, okay, you don't have an extinguisher, offense one. I just smiled. You know, so he said, let me see your papers. I just went in, brought my papers, gave to him, was checking through. So as I was checking through, I just figured, okay, to just give him more assurance, I brought my company ID. Oh, this is where I work. You know, he's like, oh, wow, okay, so said, where's your license? Of course, I know that he has no right to ask for my license. That, But of course, you know, to live in Nigeria, you need emotional intelligence.
That's it.
If I say, oh, you don't need my license for anything.
Then you've given a
say,
reason.
oh, okay. You know, so, and we could be there. So I just gave him, he was like, wow. He just went through, said, good one. I mean, he was happy the way I interacted with him. I said, so I told him that actually I'm a law-abiding citizen. So he was just very happy, and then he gave me back my papers, you know, took my license. I put it back, and then I waved and I said goodbye. And then that was it, right? So I think, again, we should learn to be respectful to these people. Now, we have so many bad eggs, right? But it doesn't negate the fact that you see a police officer, oh, good afternoon, sir.
Wearing black under the sun.
Do you understand? And often, you know, somebody told a story that a police officer stopped him, and then he said, good morning, sir. How are you doing, sir? He now said, Oga, be going. I said, so, no. He now said, boss, sir, why did you say? Nobody has ever greeted me.
You see?
And he was like, for greeting me, be going.
Be going.
I don't care what you're, just be going. You know, for him, I was like, I've not felt this, you know,
respect.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing, sir? You know, so they just shout at us, why they stop me now? You know, so you get, so I think we should also learn, because we should not always be on one side of the table. If we mess up, we should call ourselves out. If they mess up, we call them out. So I agree from that point of view. Oftentimes, I don't have altercations with you
policemen.
Know, even with last man. Once they see that you are respectful, you greet them, you are cautious, you're polite. But we don't learn that around here. We don't learn to be, everything is always in a haste, want to shout, want to argue. But
even
of course,
when they're wrong, I like what you said, even when they're wrong, the approach to it. And I don't know if, before you come in, Elijah, I don't know if you saw this thing that EFCC arrested a couple of people in Ibadan.
Yeah, I saw it.
Before that news came out, and that's the power of social media, a lady tweeted that there's a hotel where they lodge in Ibadan whenever they are there. So she went there with a boyfriend, and around 3 a.m., they just had the bang. That's where I got that 3 a.m. from, on the door, and the door fell. They were all asleep. They both jumped up, and they're shouting, we are EFCC, blah, 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 blah. He said they were disoriented. And you know, so the guy saw the guy, and the guy, you know, interestingly, the guy is into FX and stuff, so, you know, money exchange. So he said, immediately knew that. She was like, oh, my husband, my boyfriend, this would be an issue for you. So the guy was panicking and shaking. He said, okay, while he's still shaking, here's my phone. Check the phone. What do? I'm a baker. Then the guy said, oh, you're a baker. And she says he sought that little opportunity and started talking. So he said, is this your husband or your boyfriend? He said, this is my boyfriend, but soon to be my husband. He said, why you never married? And they started chatting. Is this your cool? Are this your things? He said, yeah, oh, blah, blah. So while they were talking, the guy said, leave these ones, they're okay. And they went to the next room. He said they broke down about 250 rooms on that day. Now, I can imagine how many people will have challenged them that night. Yeah. And out of, it's wrong for them to do that. You know, even the process is wrong. But even that challenge and that arrogance and everything, you want to show me, say you know.
Exactly.
So while they're wrong, let's try. I agree with what you're saying. That point that just
even before Elijah comes in. You know, okay, I said emotional intelligence is important. I remember when we were very late, my dad, we were going to the village and we'd gotten past Asaba. It was already late, and so we got to a certain bush alley, you know, and so some of these armed men flagged my dad. So my dad was approaching because I was awake, you know. I try to be awake when we're going long road trips. Yeah, you learn a lot. So I was like, so my dad looked and looked and looked, boom. So when he zoomed off, so we got news that actually that they were robbers.
Can you imagine?
Dressed. Whoa. So and how did you know? He said, I've been driving for over 25 years. So, like, there's an intelligence, you know how to spot these things. So you can just say, good morning, sir. You get so, you need that. Again, I understand why some people get so you need that intelligence too as well. You're stopped, nobody is there, just you know, bush path, you want to. But if it's a busy area, I mean, nobody's going to abduct you in a very busy area. So
it depends on the situation. Well, Victor, let me tell you my experience this morning. Profiling. We've done that. I was coming from, coming down here. I had to board a bike because of the
traffic and all that.
Traffic. Guess what? I was on my suit, on my bag. I was on my laptop. When I got to, I think that's Festac Junction. Okay. Policemen, some of them were on uniform, while some were on mufti. They stopped the bike. The guy looked at me. I was expecting to say, bring your bag. He looked at me. They go. But in my presence, see other young people, they grabbed
who were not carrying bags.
No, they were not on suits. Because they were carrying their smartphone. Let's see.
That's what I'm saying. They were not even carrying bags.
On the most serious note.
And it could be the Yahoo.
I understand the balance. Now, the question is, I understand that profiling is important for their job, but they should know that profiling is just the beginning. It's a test. It's not because what if I'm the Yahoo boy? God forbid, I'm not a Yahoo boy. But what if a Yahoo boy dresses on suits, and then the gentleman that is law-abiding just decide to keep a rough hair and wear crazy jeans? Does that make him a Yahoo boy? No. So the profiling is not ultimate. And just imagine Victor now. See, if me and Victor were to go to somewhere, Victor is a turtleneck wearing person with his beard, and me, I always like to wear suit normal. They most likely will stop him more than you. So we know, and again, that's one. Number two, I agree that we should be respectful to our police officers.
Very true.
I used to be very, very. I remember those days when I used to serve at when I was serving in Onitsha during my NYC. And some of those soldiers that will clear road or something, I will go there, I will greet them, we'll talk. Sometimes if I have some change in my pocket, I get them a bottle of water, and they'll be very grateful. Thank you.
That's another thing you don't do.
They're okay. And there are times too I had to scold some police officers on the way. When I'm going, some of them will miss me. I will call them to order and I will tell them, oh God, this thing you are doing is not good. And they were like, who are you? When they know I'm a copper, they say, oh, this copper said, you've come again. Things like that. But my point is, it's true, we should respect these people. They are doing their job, but they should not abuse it.
Definitely.
Profiling is not the end point. Don't just be profiling someone, you drag the person. No, do it respectfully. Let it be respectful. The process should be respectful.
I mean, and what you're saying about dragging, it even goes beyond profiling. There are times when, even when you're going to arrest a criminal, or someone that has been accused, who is not yet a criminal, you must address the person with respect.
Except you don't just drag and push. He or she is aggressive.
Exactly. So we have that mentality that we need to stop.
Back to the culture.
Back to the culture. You see what I'm saying?
Why are these police just
everything? So at the end of the day, now when you come, like you said about profiling, when you profile someone, it's just the beginning, like you said. It's meant to, it's to give you a reason to monitor the person.
True.
You don't profile and bang into a hotel room. That is wrong. The person could actually sue you. And that's the thing. They wouldn't do that to the wealthy men. I will say, oh, the wealthy men are paying. No, it's not that they're paying money. The wealthy men know their rights. If you attempt that with a wealthy man, all he needs to do is get 4 sons. And you've lost the case. it will twat the case. Even that process of arresting is messed everything up. So
well,
I think that comes to play that even the youth, we need to look for a way to fight
let me use this
without being
opportunity
aggressive, physical.
to say this in profiling. Nigerian police, please, the government should try and train them on recent things. For instance, when I mean recent things, you don't see a young person with a laptop and assume he's a criminal. Don't assume. And when he opens his laptop, if you see certain apps,
no, even do you have the right? You see, you can see the laptop and suspect, but you don't have the right to open the laptop. What you can do from profiling, which is where I agree to disagree with you, is that when you see somebody and you signal the person, then you have a responsibility to monitor the person
and interact with the
do
person.
your intelligence gathering and things. But we could talk more and more about this. We could keep talking on this, and so yes, there's so much to talk about on profiling, from the attitude of the profiler, you could say, and the profilee, and you know, everything about it. But we have to end it some way, somehow, and we want to thank you for your attention while the program lasted. We hoped our conversations resonated with you, and that in some small way encourage you to contribute to your immediate environment. Little drops of water, they say, make a mighty ocean. Don't forget the advocacy continues on social media platforms on Facebook, PlusTvAfrica, hashtag #TheAdvocateNG, and on Twitter and Instagram at PlusTvAfrica, hashtag #TheAdvocateNG. To catch up with previous broadcasts, go to PlusTvAfrica.com/TheAdvocateNG, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, PlusTV Africa and PlusTV Africa Lifestyle. Join us next week, same time on this station. Let's keep advocating for a better society. See you next time. Bye-bye.